welcome back. And that will not be all. We'll be talking about the issue of delineation in the Warri federal constituency is up for conversation yet again today. It looks like that issue is not totally over. You know, the issues around the Shekiri, Ijo, and the Urobos, as far as the Warri federal constituency is concerned, where INEC had to delineate because of the judgment of the Supreme Court. Rather than bring closure, that has generated controversy. It's going to be up for conversation today on the program. But hey, let's get to what exactly you're saying. You know, we have two dailies we look at every day. We have the national dailies, the usual newspapers you talk about. We also have the dailies led by you, what you're saying online. So let's get straight to it. The very first has to do with that defection of Governor Umoh of Akwa Ibom State, officially now defecting from the PDP to the APC. I think from the last count, APC should now have about 22 governors. So you see, the governor receiving is now Governor Friends. Someone looked Governor of Lagos, saw Hope Uzodinma, the Progressive Governors Forum as well. I wish we could get that moment where he made the pronouncement. That is Sheriff Oborowere, his colleague from the PDP that has now officially joined the APC. That is the governor of Cross River State and the governor of Ebonyi State, as well as the governor of Ogun State, that's Dakwa Abiodun. You can go on and on. The governor of Edo State, the budget minister, and all of that. Let's take a listen to him.
Having completed the rounds of my consultation as your servant that you have elected to serve you, I have therefore decided to progressively move to the All Progressive Congress.
The umbrella becomes the broom as Governor Umoh moves to the All Progressives Congress. That is coming after what he says is 3 months of wide consultations. And of course, over the weekend, we see that the governor of Edo State has congratulated him and wished him well as he moves to the All Progressives Congress. But according to some reports, this hurricane, Tinubu, as they call it, is going to sweep more governors into the All Progressives Congress. And we've seen some meetings, you know, that have been, sort of giving wheels to those speculations from last week, the meeting between Mr. President and the governor of Osun State and his cousin and father of his cousin. Of course, you know the cousin we're talking about, High Life crooner Davido. So will there be more movements in the coming weeks? Besides that, we'll be asking all those questions that border on Governor Umoh's defection to the APC. So that's a big talking point today. Right. So let's not exhaust it. So let's go straight to the next
Yes, there's a lot to talk about as far as that's concerned. Udom Emmanuel, we've not seen him defect. Of course, Nyemema Bong has resigned as a commissioner. Onofio Kliku was a contestant in the last election as an aspirant, hasn't defected. A couple of other people, Enoiden, who was the former legal advisor of the PDP, has also not defected. So he wasn't able to rally everybody. That will be the crux of the conversation. But while that was going on, the president was in his Lagos residence watching the defection. So take a look at the president watching that defection of the governor of Akwa Ibom State. Yes, so that's the president watching the defection of the Akwa Ibom State governor. Okay, so
what's going through the mind of the president? What do you think is going through the mind of the president?
I wouldn't know. I'm not the president, so I don't know what's going on in his mind. But interestingly, we're going to look at all the sides. I don't have a problem with people defecting. It's their choice. But let them just say it's for personal interest. All of this for the interest of our people. It's just a funny narrative. To align with the center. It's another narrative that makes me laugh.
Well,
but they have a right to do whatever
there's
they want
some candor that is unusual in the explanation for defection. That is coming, which is coming from the governor of Akwa Ibom State. He has talked about the absence of any defining ideological lines between the political parties.
And that's a shame to all of them. It's a shame to the political class.
Jeffrey, you have no filter. Let's go to the next.
It's a shame.
Let's go to the next talking point.
I'm not saying to him. It's a shame to the political class that we cannot build political parties with ideologies.
All right.
But they have a right to do whatever they want to do. It's their party. Let's go to the next one, Bukola. You have the next one.
So the next one, during the festivities, the president paid host to quite a number of visitors who came to pay him Salah homage. Amongst them is the Ooni of Ife, Oba Adeyeye Ogunwusi. We also had the Alake of Egbaland, Oba Michael Adedotun Aremo Gbadebo. We also had Governor Sanwo-Olu. Yes, and that's one big talking point from the weekend. We're going to let you in on the soundbite from Governor Sanwo-Olu, which sort of laid to rest speculations over, a rift between Mr. President and himself.
So you can see Shehu as well there.
Yes. We'll get that to you later, but Mr. President, according to reports, has since forgiven his political godson. And Governor Sanwo-Olu said, look, there isn't really nothing to it. These things happened between father and son, and he has acknowledged the president as his political godfather, and all is now well with the governor, the state assembly, I believe, and Mr. President.
So we had Razak Okoya there. You forgot to mention Razak Okoya and his family. So it's a long list of visitors. These are the ones we're able to capture. So usually,
and there's a name at the bottom there, Jeffrey.
He was there. I just saw me.
Yeah.
No, he's not been very. He's visited Buhari. He's visited everybody he can visit. Mr. Shehu, I'm sure that he's making his move, whatever that move is. But I still know that he's a member of the People's Democratic Party. But it's his kingsman, so he is in a better position to explain why he went to see.
What those moves mean, the implications of those moves.
I'm not going to do that for him.
Well, let's say, as his former boss says, I have a right to have friends from everywhere.
Absolutely.
But we're hoping to have a conversation with Mr. Shomi in the coming days so that we can understand the reason for this move.
It's all politics.
Yeah.
Okay, the next one is a very controversial issue. The one that has to do with the senior pastor of House on the Rock, Pastor Paul Adefarasin, where a gentleman who is a content creator we understand was trying to film cars. He films luxury cars, and then apparently the pastor wasn't comfortable when he got to a particular point and worn down, and then told the guy, don't do that again. The guy apologized, but what got people talking is what he held in his hand. He didn't point it to him, in fairness to him, but when he was driving out, we saw it. So I sent the video to someone. I said, what exactly is this exactly? And the person said, I think he said it's not a gun. Pastor Paul, this is him in his church now responding. I'm going to allow him to respond, but just to give the people context as to what necessitated this response was to the effect that what people saw in his hand got a lot of people curious as to he was pulling a gun at the guy. He said, no, I didn't pull a gun at anyone. I don't have a gun. I don't have a license. Although he did not mention what he had in his hands, but some people are saying it's a taser. It has a touchlight first to illuminate, and then taser can incapacitate before the person calls for help. And that has got a lot of people talking. But if we can get what he said as his response.
What we have had to witness was clickbaiters, just looking for more money. I probably wasn't even their target. Their target was to make more money. And I was falsely accused of bearing a firearm, pointing a firearm at an aggressive content creator who came within personal distance. The only thing separating me and him was about maybe 3/4 of a meter and glass. I do not have a pistol license for a firearm. I do not carry a firearm, and I pointed no firearm at anybody. And it's our policy not to dignify hate speech, false accusations. We believe that God is bigger than that. And we believe in what is said in Romans 12 and verse 19.
Yeah. Pastor of House on the Rock Church there.
Pastor Paul Adefarasin there responding to that particular thing. So it's a tricky situation. So on one hand, I'm just looking at it. I said there's trauma on all sides. If I want to read what was going on. So I'm sure the guy who saw him was also shocked, just like I suspect he was...
No, I have listened to the guy, and the guy said he didn't even know that the person who was trying to record his luxury car was Pastor Paul.
What I mean that the guy was
shocked. It was
shocked.
later on when he presented the video to friends that they were able to identify Pastor Paul for him.
No,
yes.
That's not what I mean. I mean that because of what we saw in Pastor Paul's hands, which he said is not a gun, I'm sure they may have also shocked the guy. I'm not saying the guy pulled it up, but we all saw the video, you understand? So I don't know what experience Pastor Paul has had with all the road traffic situation and all of that. So maybe he panicked, and that's why he wasn't comfortable. But what the guy saw in his hands as well made the guy panic as well. So there's a lot of conversation around this issue as far as it's concerned. But, you know, because he's a public figure and all of that, he has to be very careful. Some people are saying he should have driven past and not worn down. The guy wasn't in a distance to be able to harm him. He said he was in close proximity. He said he was aggressive, but the guy, I listened to the guy's interview, I think with Freeze, the guy said he wasn't aggressive. So is there what against his? What we can see is what we saw in the video and what explanations are being given.
I think, you know, we're just making, whoever is expanding this is just making a mountain out of a molehill. An individual has a right to, you know, not to allow anyone to record them. If anyone is holding up a camera, wanted to take a picture of you or take a video of you, you have a right to say no, because you don't know the purpose for which the material is going to be used. So you have a right, and even if this were presented in the court of law, I believe there are some arguments that can be put forward about the propriety of the content that is being taken and what it will be used for. And if you have been robbed in traffic before, then you might have trauma, or as you say, phobia, you know, for that kind of approach by an individual that you do not know that is trying to record you or take a picture of you. So this has been expanded without any reason for...
At the end of the day, both of them have a point. Both the content creator and Pastor Paul, they all have their point. The guy apologized. As soon as he accosted him, said, don't do that. The guy said, I'm sorry. So in fairness to the guy, but what generated
that's why I believe that, you know...
What generated the controversy is what he held in his hands.
That's why I said that the trend is whoever is expanding it, and we know who it is just making a mountain out of a molehill. And we know him for going after, you know, pastors.
No, that would be a broad accusation.
That's another...
that would be a broad accusation, because a lot of people went after Pastor Paul. It's not just him.
The particular individual who caused it to trend, who shared it on his Instagram handle.
Well, I saw it on a generic handle. I don't know.
Well,
so let's not make accusations.
If you want us to come out in the open, he shared it on his Instagram handle, and then the other, you know, bloggers picked it up. But on both sides, there have been talking points in support of the, you know, the guy recording luxury cars, and in support of, you know, the criticisms against Pastor Adefarasin.
No problem. I just don't know who put out the video first. I just saw it online. But whatever it is, I'm sure all of it has been... it's going to be a continuous conversation at the end of the day. But let's move on. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get to that conversation around the issue of Akwa Ibom and the defection of the governor and everybody that's gone with him. Join us in just a moment. We'll be right back.